Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. Can we talk about Jem and the holograms? Yes, indeed. Welcome back. This is the Can We Talk About podcast, and we can we talking, as we do in our classic sense, about a show that we are a very dear friend of. That Neon Nightmare. That pastel phantasm. That so frighteningly fashionable 80s cartoon. Air quotes classic. Jem and the holograms. I sign my writings with a little J in a circle. My name's Joe.
I'm gonna kidnap a pop star until she loves me. I'm Kristen.
And we are watching Jem and the Holograms via Shout Factory's Jem and the Holograms Truly Outrageous complete series box set, as well as The Wonderful World of Netflix. Kristen, what are you watching on the Netflix this week?
I haven't actually gotten to it yet, but I do fully intend on watching the Death Note movie.
Same here, because I've seen reactions. It seems kind of, ranging from this is shit to like, this is hilarious to who knows, so
to me it sounds like a weird mishmash of what Death Note kind of was thematically with like an 80s teen movie. which sounds jarring.
Sounds right up your alley.
Oh yes, definitely.
This week, Kristen, we just need to stop the podcast. There's no story this week, as Kimber says, because you see, Jem's gone, Jerrica's gone,
what?
And the holograms will never perform ever again, ever.
That's fine.
What may have caused this, you ask, Kristen? And I do think you asked. Yeah, you asked that, yeah.
I didn't.
Well, it's The Day the Music Died, which, Kristen, in all honesty, is a bit of an over-dramatic title for the episode.
Well, Riot and Jem don't work that hard to clear up any confusion that they might be dead somewhere.
The thing is, I thought that Riot and Jem were presumed dead in this episode, but they're not. They're just kind of...
They're both just being dicks.
They're just gone. They're not there anymore, and they
they're
get a postcard.
VK.
I love Mexico, never to return.
Yep. Hey, we've all been there.
I haven't.
You leave your room less than I do, which is impressive.
In either case, let's take that fucking disaster boat to Mexico Island, Kristen.
There's a couple disaster boats.
Let's start it up!
Let's get to it.
Me and my friends are Jem girls. Jem is my name. Exciting adventure, fashion, and fame. Once you're a Jem girl, you're never the same. Come on and be a Jem girl. Jem is my name. Me and my friends are Jem girls. Jem is my name. Truly outrageous, that's a Jem girl. Glamour, fashion, and fame. Exciting adventure, fashion, and fame. Once you're a Jem girl, you're never the same. Come on and be a Jem girl. Jem is my name. Jem.
So, Kristen, this episode is unique in the way that the theme song starts here. Me and my friends are Jem girls. Jem is my name. And after about 15 seconds, we have Kimber go, snap!
Cut to Kimber having a crisis already in progress.
Well, the theme song slows down, and like it does the whole like end of the movie reel thing.
Kimber burned it in real time.
And Kimber, is addressing the audience straight up here, and a lot of characters do that in this episode, which is unique, and I don't know if it works, but it doesn't work in some other cases. So
they're talking to the kids.
Talking to little Joey watching Jem, right? Or little Jilly watching Jem, I guess.
Both of them, Joe. Come on. It's for the boys, too.
Of course, that's what Hasbro wanted.
Exactly. So these cartoon characters in this cartoon know that they're a cartoon. Suck on that.
Kimber tells us that, yes, there's going to be no story this week because Jem's gone, Jerrica's gone, and the holograms will never play again. Kimber admits immediately that it's her fault, which is good.
It's not.
Actually, it's Riot's fault, yes, now that I think
it's
about
Riot
it.
and Jem's faults, exclusively.
Sometimes I take things a little too personally.
Oh, she's become self-aware.
The Day the Music Died, written by Roger Slifer, and I believe we're going to be seeing that name once or twice more before the end of the season. I think he wrote...
Does he do Riot's Hope?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, he does.
You madman.
Roger Slifer loves himself some stingers, I guess.
I guess. Someone needs to.
We started Starlight Music, where this whole mess started about 3 months ago. Now, Kristen, the events of this seem, I guess you could say, now enough happens that if we said that this happened in like the matter of days, we'd be shitting on the episode for it, so.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where when it starts at 3 months ago, I did make a mental note of that, thinking, okay, so we're gonna get like a little bit of setup, but it feels like things move very quickly after the flashback, and then it turns into Jem and Riot have been stranded on a desert island for 3 months, and no one cared.
Well, we've got Shayna here. She's given Jerrica the business over the fact that she doesn't like the color of the logo, that Jerrica doesn't like the color of the logo here. And Jerrica's like, Shayna, it's very pretty, but it needs to complement our outfits.
I guess Jerrica is the stage designer also.
Kristen, I was going to say, I feel like this should be switched here. Shayna is the fashion designer. She should be like, Jerrica, you suggested this color. I don't think it works very well. It should be this.
Maybe the problem here is that Shayna doesn't appreciate having what should go with the outfits explained to her. She's like, are you kidding me? I'm the one who made the outfits.
That's possible as well. And then as Shayna leaves, she goes, okay, you're the boss. Clearly, that bitch bug that infected Aja is been passed on to Shayna here, clearly.
In this, like, small span of seconds, Aja is, like, the only character who isn't, like, just stone cold to Jerrica, so all the demons inside Aja have been passed to the others.
Dispersed here.
Jerrica goes, Shayna!
I don't want you to do something just because I told you to, even though I just told you to do it.
Not sensing that there's some tension here already, Rio also slides in, and he's like, we need to talk about the lights, Jerrica. Which, God, she is so sick of hearing that. He says that they need a new set, or we could use the old boring ones.
Rio has a new light bay, and it's fucking so goddamn expensive.
Please, I want the new lights. I need a younger, hotter set of lights.
300 lumens.
Please.
Jerrica says that lights aren't in the budget, and then Rio calls Jerrica a tightwad.
Okay, yo, they just made up last episode. What the fuck is happening now?
Kristen, I'm a little weird. Okay, so it'd be one thing if Jerrica was just like, Rio, I think our lights are fine. But she straight up says, we don't have the budget for it, and somehow that's not an acceptable answer for Rio.
Like, she is his boss.
Yeah, that's grounds for firing. I can't call my boss a tightwad.
I can't either.
Rio leaves and, also goes, okay, boring setup it is, boss lady.
And Jerrica's like, are you really twice? Twice in a few seconds?
And then Kimber comes in here, not sensing any of the tension either, and is just like, hey, Jerrica, we need you to go, we need Jem to go check out Regine's new costume designs this afternoon. And an interesting thing here, Kristen, the Regine in question is Regine Césaire from Straight from the Heart, an episode that is 2 episodes after this one.
Yeah, but at first second I was like, I remember when they said Regine before. Isn't that the character who hasn't shown up yet?
The weird thing is, because I looked into it, the production order for this episode is still before Straight from the Heart, so it's not like they messed up the broadcast order or anything.
They just got some script words wrong, I guess.
It's probably like Hasbro was like, hey, we got this new doll lady. She's gonna be a fashion designer. It's like, we already have a lady that's a fashion... Hey, whatever! The
Countess somewhere goes, mon Dieu, I am being replaced.
And then... Well, wouldn't Straight from the Heart be different if all of Regine's problems were caused by the Countess?
Instead of the Stingers. It's the Countess dressed up as Riot.
They look exactly the same.
They do!
Jerrica lets Kimber know that she's well aware of all the responsibilities that both she and Jem have here, so get off my back!
And again, it isn't Kimber's fault, because Kimber's response is like, I am just trying to help!
But then, of course, in classic argument in Jem fashion, where...
Escalates.
You need
Never
to,
de-escalates.
You need to act rational. You see that your sister's having a bit of a bad day, and you jump straight into, you just don't appreciate me!
Instead of maybe being like, maybe I should take a step back and consider why my sister is screaming at me and say, hey, there's no need for you to talk to me like that. You're really stressed out. I know you don't mean it, but please don't take it out on me. No, you don't appreciate me! So
then Jerrica goes, get out! Get out! To everyone, even though she and Kimber are the only ones in the room now.
She's really wanting to yell it directly at Kimber.
Kimber, narrating, says that she knew Jerrica was under a lot of pressure, but the night the concert happened was when everything came to a head.
So, like, within a few days of this, I assume, because Jerrica is still in super stressed out mode.
And we find that Jem is pissed because is she on like a cell phone? How did she find out about this? I forget already.
I don't know.
Must have been a cell phone, whatever. So
yeah, probably.
She closes her flip phone real quick and is just like,
she throws it on the ground, it snaps in half, and she's like, oh, now my mom has to get me a new one.
Rio's van broke down, and since he is apparently the only roadie that Jem and the Holograms have, they can't set up for the concert now.
Now I understand how Starlight Music is in heaps of debt, apparently. Because what the fuck are they doing with their budget?
Speedballs.
Yep.
For Bonnie.
For Bonnie.
Oh, no, actually it was the one with Speedballs. Oh, well, everybody's doing heroin now.
Doing
Sorry.
heroin.
So, Jericho walks over to a speaker that is, for some reason, just in the middle of the stage, like, knocked over. And she starts trying to move it to herself, just all going like, I told Rio to get the van fixed. Fuck!
So, like, who was setting up before? She's suddenly like, now it's my responsibility. Because everything else on the stage is there. Maybe, was Rio, like, going back and forth? And maybe he was, like, on a trip coming back, and that's when the van broke down?
We find that the Stingers are doing this concert as well, and maybe
Why?
all the stuff that's on
No!
stage is
Stop!
the Stinger stuff, maybe?
No, shut up. Why?
Why are Jem and the Stingers doing a concert together,
Yes!
is what you're asking. I don't know, Kristen. That's a very good question.
Why does Rio have to set up for the concert that the Stingers are playing? Who sets up for the Stingers? Riot's not doing it.
He makes an rapture to it.
Oh, you know what? That actually makes perfect sense.
All the holograms start to go help Jem with the speaker, and Rhea wastes no time as they're still pushing the speaker up here, just whispering to Shayna, I'm worried about how stressed Jerica is. I've never seen her like this.
She has to do it when the speaker is between them because Jerica is infamous for reading lips when people are talking shit about her.
Kimber, back in narration at this point, says that she should have seen the signs, but even she couldn't guess where this was gonna lead to next.
And then, kicking down the door, Pizzazz comes in, and she says, Hey, Hollow Twerp, you're late for the session.
Kimber turns to the camera and says, I hate this.
And she is dressed Misfitsy the whole time.
Actually, all of the costumes that the holograms wear while they are part of the Misfits are the same, like, evil sister costumes from Beauty and the Rock promoter.
Nice. I knew there was a reason I remembered and liked Aja's so much.
So we've got some intrigue here, and now it's Rhea's turn. So the camera pans right past Rhea, and she's like, no, wait, no, I'm part of the holograms, remember?
There was a very interesting thing that happened here, where Rhea is in one outfit, she's, like, behind stage somewhere, and she starts saying, oh, you know, when I joined Jem and the Holograms, it was the happiest day in my life. I didn't realize the happiness would be over so quickly, though. And then it fades out to her standing in the same spot, in a different outfit, just talking more.
At the Stingers concert here,
Yes.
that same concert, she did say, like, it was exactly where it happened here. I was standing right here when the Stingers came on stage, and like the rest of the audience,
3 months later, the stage is still here?
Jem was enchanted by Riot. Song number 1 of the evening, Under My Spell. So, Kristen, here's this whole thing with you being like, Riot's a hypnotist or a brainwasher or whatever.
It's starting to make sense, isn't it?
I just, charisma goes a long way, I guess. I don't know.
He's a hypnotist.
The imagery of this song is simply a Stingers concert. Riot has a yellow microphone, I noted as well. He and Jem exchanged glances. Jem's backstage, by the way. I thought that, for some reason, I remember this music video as them being, like, in the front row. But, no, they're backstage.
I don't remember the song at all.
They play it twice, Kristen. Well, they play a little section of it a second
When it
time.
did come up the second time, I was like, this is the same song, right? Yeah, it is.
We have Riot and Jem dancing. They're sharing some purple drink in champagne glasses at one point.
Nice,
Because
I love
I guess
Kool-Aid.
Riot pulls Jem on stage and dances with her, and we have another one of those Stingersy lines of, your heart is running riot under my spell.
Why can't they fit in their dumb names better? Because I heard them get to the rhyme that would set up the word riot, and I was gonna think, like, oh, okay, yeah, there's a riot. There you go. That's it.
Running riot.
Your heart
Yeah.
is running riot. Is that a turn of phrase? I'm not familiar with it.
Riot uses that phrase in Straight from the Heart as well, so...
How would you learn some new phrases?
Riot continues, saying the pressure Jem was under was making her vulnerable, but it all happened so quickly!
So before, I guess, Jem and the Holograms even perform, the Stingers finish their one-song set.
Well, Kristen, there's two things here that are both bad options. One is the holograms opened for the Stingers.
Yes.
And the second is Jem was spirited away before the holograms could even perform their concert.
Riot picks Jem up and just puts her in a limo, and they leave.
But Kristen Reyes says the worst was yet to come. And at this point, Roxy pulls up in the Roxy Roadster, as I have rechristened it.
Perfect. Again, Roxy can't read, so she probably shouldn't drive.
And Roxy's like slapping the side of the door, being like, come on, there's work to be done, let's go!
The Misfits are so excited to finally have a drummer.
We vertical wipe to Jem and Riot hanging out in a jungle paradise or something here. Those Those sweet Mexican jungles, Kristen.
Of course. They're gonna find an Aztec pyramid out there.
Riot exposition monologues to himself a bit here. No Rio, no holograms. I have Jem all to myself.
And it kind of happened by accident, so hey, good for him.
So it's Riot's turn to drive the narrative at this point, because he starts like, I did have to lay it on a little thick at the beginning, but I got what I wanted in the end, as usual.
I literally kidnapped a person.
We fade to a cruise ship, a disaster boat, where Riot and Jem get, actually, considering how much Riot won in roulette that we see later, this is probably the opposite of a disaster. Do the stingers nullify disaster boats?
Who knows? There's a disaster later, because Jem's the one that makes it a disaster.
That's true. Maybe providing if you have the stingers on a boat with you and you're the holograms, and you don't actively try to crash the boat,
Who knows?
there won't be a disaster. Maybe.
But Jem does very observantly say, "What's this?"
It's a boat.
She's like, silly, of course it's a boat, but like, why though?
Riot is here to take Jem away from it all. They're cruising down to Mexico.
So they get on the boat while they're having this conversation. And once she's on the boat, Jem starts to go, well, I mean, like, I have shit to do, so I really can't.
Ah! You can. You will. You are.
And Riot's just straight up like, the boat already left the dock, so you're fucking stuck here unless you can swim real good. And Jem goes, ah! Oh my god! You got me! This is Jean Parmesan. Ah! That sort of thing.
And Jem basically goes, a few days of rest and relaxation won't hurt, because, yeah, they already disembarked as Jem was like, wait a minute, should I be on this boat?
So, like, this turns into 3 months.
So Under My Spell starts playing again here, and we see Jem and Riot dancing, gambling. Somehow they brought changes of the clothing with them as well.
I guess so. Hey, Riot is always prepared. They smooch also.
Jem bets on 22. I wonder if it's her lucky number. 2, Jem, Jerica.
I can't think of why that would be significant. Let's move on.
So they're standing on the bow of the boat here, or whatever, the stern, whatever, and
One of the
port
two.
starboard, one of them. And Jem goes, I feel like we're the only people in the world.
We are. I killed everyone else on the boat.
Oh my
I
god.
poisoned them.
Jem thanks Riot. This is exactly what she needed, but I'm excited to get back. I miss my sister and my friends.
Oh, you have a sister?
What?
You just said you had a sister.
No. And so it would be really nice if Riot was like, oh, I didn't know you had a sister.
Do you want to know the only reason this is more irritating than usual? It's because later they make a point to go, oh, Kimber's not Jem's sister, she's Jerica's.
Roger Slifer can't keep his shit together with this.
Nope.
Riot goes, you don't need them. We only need each other.
And Riot's like, ha boom shakalaka. I'm a sociopath. And I'm proud of it.
We fade to Aja. They expected Jem to return after a few days, but she didn't.
Aja looking so choice in that evil Aja outfit, by the way. Loving the pigtails.
Without Jem, they couldn't record songs or cut records, and we see there's a panning shot here over all of the remaining holograms, stingers, and the Misfits. And we're like, oh, more intrigue. What's going on here with this super band of the Misfits?
This 10-person band.
They didn't know what to do. They hoped Jem would return. But then came that fateful day, the day the music died, Kristen.
Quick question, Joe.
Yes.
Why the fuck didn't they ask Synergy?
That's a very good question.
Synergy! Where, Jim? Oh, she's in Mexico. Riot is holding her hostage.
They forgot where the fucking...
Oh, our mansion is so big. What wall is it?
They forgot where the false wall that leads to Synergy
I don't
is.
feel like walking into walls all day. See, it's one of those things. This episode kind of works, but then there's shit like this where it's like, what the fuck?
So that fateful day, Kristen, we see there are angry people outside of a door that says Kimber Benton on it, and...
Wait! Kimber has her own office.
Kimber has her own office here that
Why?
isn't filled with... That looks clean, by the way.
Yeah, I don't think it's very often used. So, there's a bunch of creditors outside the door, men in suits, no women, because sexism. And they're pounding on the door being like, okay, like, you need to pay us, though. We're all fucked up here. And Kimber is, repelling out of the fucking window of the skyscraper.
She's doing a prison bedsheet rope out the window here, as she's just like, just a minute!
1 second! And you put this in your notes, which is something I was also thinking too. Jerica has been gone for 3 days. And Starlight Music is so in debt they need to sell it. What the hell has Jerica been doing?
Jerica's not a very good financier, Kristen, clearly.
No!
So Kimber goes down into Aja's office, which just happens to be one floor below hers, I guess, with an open window, thankfully.
Why on different floors? It doesn't matter.
Aja is distracted by a postcard as Kimber's just like, holy fuck, the creditors, we gotta do something!
They think they want my head!
Aja goes, oh, take a look at this, you might want to see it.
People who really want money are kind of the least of our problems because our meal ticket is gone.
So Kimber starts reading, Dear Kimber, Aja, Shayna, and the other one, I'm having a great time in Mexico. Stop. Riot is more wonderful than I ever dreamed. Stop. This isn't a telegram, so I probably don't need to end it with stop, do I? Stop.
Make it stop, make it stop.
Jem has decided she's going to stay with Riot forever and ever and ever, amen, and won't be coming back.
Tell Rio he'll always hold a special place in my heart.
Don't tell Rio that, just keep telling him Jericho went to the store when he comes looking for her.
Yeah, so they just kind of accept that Jem and Jerica disappear at the same time.
That's another problem with the episode, Kristen.
Like, okay, if they didn't want to use synergy to try and figure out where Jem was, maybe it could be a thing, oh, well, she's in Mexico somewhere, but the earrings got wet. I can't pinpoint her exact location. What I can do for you is make a hologram Jerica to hang out.
Now, the only thing with that, Kristen, is wouldn't hologram Jerica be expected to do her duties? And if she can't sit in a fucking chair because she's a hologram,
They'll
how's she
make
gonna
a version of her that just lays in bed and is terminally ill.
Synergy's a computer. Can they have her, like, do the finances?
I don't have a calculator function. Weird. I'm not sure why Emmett Benton didn't put that in me.
I knew we should have gotten the upgraded Synergy. Fuck, she doesn't even have a disk drive.
God damn it.
So, Kimber says they're in trouble, and it fades back to Aja in the present, who goes, that was an understatement.
So Pizzazz comes and she says, alright, Misfits, get ready to record. And Aja, try to keep on beat this time.
So, yeah, segment 1 ends with Castle Thunder Pizzazz laughing at the camera here. Maniacal, evil witch laughter.
I feel so bad for Pizzazz in this episode because she is, like, once again operating at peak Pizzazz. And she does such a good job by herself. And then what I can only assume is Jerica's inability to take care of her own finances in an effective way is the thing that messes up Pizzazz. Pizzazz out-Eric's Eric in this episode.
Segment 2 starts with a wrecking ball destroying the gem sign on Star...
Where are all those pieces going?
Kristen, they do this twice on this episode.
Why?
And Ray is the one piloting the crane the second time.
What the fuck? They're hurting people. They're raining down plywood on them.
What happens to the wrecking ball after it hits the sign? Does it hit another building?
It swerves back around and knocks into Stinger's sound.
Right into Eric's office.
Boom!
So there's a sign that is brought down to replace it with, it says Misfits. This is rechristened Misfits music, right? They say, I think?
I guess.
So anyway, it's the Misfits with all 3 bands combined on it here.
Minus Jem and Riot.
Of course.
All them girls, except Jem.
Pizzazz laughs, breaking the little nameplate that says Jerica Benton.
With her bare hands, and it appears to be metal.
She looks like a fucking Toblerone when she breaks
Oh,
it.
hell yes, and then she eats it.
Jerica's nameplate was a Toblerone the entire time.
They really do have some weird issues that probably relate directly back to their poor finances.
And before she even finished saying it, I wrote the note of, it's mine! It's all mine!
You know what? Good for you, Pizzazz. So Pizzazz starts monologuing to the camera.
She goes, Eric wanted Starlight Music, but he could never get it. He wanted to humble Jem and the holograms, but he could never do it. But I did it!
Me! Pizzazz!
Me Pizzazz! When Jem and Riot disappeared, the holograms and stingers dropped off the charts overnight, apparently. Talk about a fucking fickle public, Kristen.
Not even, like, by the time they were expected to drop new albums. I can only assume they had to be, like, in the middle of touring at that point and, like, had to refund all the tickets or something.
Probably.
Again, you add, like, those... They were literally performing live at the beginning of the episode. Add, like, 2 lines about, oh, they were in the middle of a tour where they were both on it, and then they had to stop.
Yeah. Kristen, this seems like, again, one of those episodes where would it have been better served to be two episodes.
You know what, maybe.
Because, just a little bit more explanation. I mean, this is something that requires a lot of setup.
The day the music died, and then part 2, the day the music undied.
Yeah, the day the music zombified.
Yes!
Eric could only promote the Misfits, and since Pizzazz basically had him by the balls here, it had to be done on her terms, which included a fuck ton of money.
So Pizzazz is walking around Jerica's office here, picks up a picture of Jerica, Kimber, and Emma Benton, and, football spikes it onto the ground. And spits gum on it.
Kimber actually picks up a different picture of Emmett and Jackie later, so that has, cracked glass on it, so...
Pizzazz is getting pretty violent with that carpet.
And here's where I wrote in my notes, Kristen, yes, that is nobody asking where Jerica is.
No one cares.
Pizzazz got a shitload of money out of this, but she wanted to make the Misfits the most famous band in the universe!
Universal appeal.
We fade to a courtroom. Starlight Music is declaring bankruptcy. It has been 2 weeks, Kristen.
Oh, Kimber. Asha, aren't you supposed to have half a brain?
They say 2 weeks, no, they don't say 2 weeks, excuse me, but I assume it's about 2 weeks.
It's not a very long period of time, that is definitely for sure, because we still haven't gotten to the part where it's been more than 3 days that Jem has stated she's been gone.
And Kristen, what about Scottish Synergy? Couldn't Joni have helped with the books or something?
As soon as Jem and Jerica disappeared, Joni was like, I'm out of here. See you later. See you later.
Kimber is here on behalf of Starlight Music. They have accumulated a shitload of debt. And the judge is like, all right, so Ms. Benton, Harvey Gabor has a very generous offer here for you for Starlight Music, and you should probably take it.
And Kimber's like, wait, sell the whole thing? Is that the only option I have?
Either that or you dissolve Starlight Music and sell all of its assets, which, and I'm glad that I know this about you and your mansion, which means you're going to have to get rid of the mansion, and which means you're going to have an orphan fire sale, too.
Sell the orphans. All orphans must go. We got clearance on orphans.
So Chrissy comes over at this point and grabs Kimber's arm and is just like, no!
Rushes over to Kimber, who is behind the little tiny Judge Judy gate and standing in front of a judge. I'm pretty sure they don't allow kids to just jump over the divide and be like, don't sell me!
Kimber has to sell to Harvey in the end. The Misfits celebrate in the courtroom here, and the best part is, since they're all under contract, they work for Pizzazz.
Perfect. Pizzazz gets a little mean here and says that Minx and Rapture are Riot's backups. And they say, yeah, there's no fucking band without him, so she grabbed them too. I'll take the 2 blonde ones also.
I don't like the idea of being in a band with more than one blonde person, but whatever. Come on, come over here.
You guys twins? Sisters? No, you just look super similar. It's interesting.
My hair's green sometimes too, so whatever. People know the difference. So Pizzazz jumps up on the desk and goes, I've done it. We're at the top of the charts. Song number 2 of the evening, top of the charts, which we'll be playing for you right now.
It's happened, I made it, I'm finally here at the top of the chart. Top of the charts. It's happened, the dream of a lifelong career. I'm at the top of the chart. Top of the chart. Always in the running, but I never got the vote. No, they said that you would never break through. Oh yeah. Well, pardon me while I gloat. It's happened, I knew it. It's where I belong. I'm at the top of the chart. Yeah! It's happened, we've done it. We helped put a song at the top of the top, the top. I had my taste of glory. I'm determined I will stay at the top of the charts. Top of the charts. At the top of the charts. Top of the charts. The top, the top.
There is a new Misfits song.
I was gonna say, Kristen, remember how I said that there was...
You goddamn lied to me.
Hey, it's not the same because there's 10 Misfits in this song and it's not the same Misfits. Boom.
If there
Absolved.
if there is Wikipedia information that categorized these things differently and that is what led to you to making that mistake, okay. If you were just straight up wrong, Joe,
Covering my ass, Kristen.
I
I'm
will know.
CYA right now.
I do not forgive you. How dare you even try to trick me?
So, I would like to start this off, Kristen, by noting that Pizzazz is wearing a blue dress with both pink and yellow frills on it,
She's looking a little bit like she's supposed to be New Gem.
denoting all 3 bands together as well.
I'm into this ensemble. You take all of the band members, take out Gem, take out Riot. Good. Perfect, I love it.
By proxy, if we lose Jem, we probably lose Rio too, so basically all the bad characters are gone.
Perfect, new series! Pizzazz and the Misfits.
Let's talk a little bit about this ensemble supergroup Misfits, Kristen.
Yes.
So, everybody is singing in this song at one point or another, I believe.
Yep.
So, we've got Pizzazz. She is lead singer, I'm assuming. Normally, Pizzazz also plays guitar, does she not?
Once in a while she does.
Once in a while,
She is not
okay.
in this song. To be fair, they have enough guitars.
Well, I was going to say, we've got Roxy, who is a guitarist.
Uh-huh.
We've got Rapture, who's a guitarist.
Yep.
I almost said Mick, she's a keyboardist.
Yes.
Aja, who's a guitarist.
Yes.
We've got Shayna, who's a guitarist.
Yep.
So, alright, 1 singer, 4 guitars. Possibly 5 guitars if Pizzazz is feeling saucy.
On the bright side, I've always kind of interpreted Aja as like a bass player. I know before the holograms had 5 members, it wasn't exactly clear at all.
Kristen, Aja must be like either really kind or like really pissed off if the fact that Shayna's like, I want to play guitar, made her the lead guitarist.
No, it's fine. I've only been playing the guitar for the band since we started, but you feel like it's Shayna, you go for it. Bitch mode activate.
We've got Stormer, who is a keyboardist, but got a keytar, so she can at least move around a bit.
Uh-huh.
We've got Minx, who is a keyboardist.
I don't know if she technically plays a synth, but it's set up like a keyboard.
It's probably a synthesizer, but I mean, you could say the same for Kimber. She's probably got a synthesizer too.
Yeah, she hits the demo board on her keys.
Nobody's out there with a grand piano or anything.
She has her fart piano.
Then we've got 1 saxophonist.
Uh-huh. And yo, how thrilled must Jetta be? She's like, yes! I'm the only one who plays a thing!
And Ray is the only drummer.
That makes Jetta a little bit jealous. I play percussion too! It's when I take my saxophone and I hit your drums with it!
That's our makeup of the Misfits here, Kristen.
That is 10 people, right? Did I count that right?
Well, let's see. 1 singer, 1 drummer, 1 saxophonist, 4 guitarists, 3 keyboardists.
It does.
10.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, I counted that really quickly when I was watching it. I'm pretty sure that's 10 people. That's more than a K-pop group.
And nobody playing bass either.
No.
You'd think that,
Don't
well,
need
you
it.
know, like you said, maybe Aja. Maybe they kick Roxy down to bass, because Lord knows the Misfits songs aren't known for their guitar.
Yeah, of course.
And the song doesn't sound like Top of the Charts is a great song, and I love it, but it doesn't sound like a song that 10 people are playing.
No. Like, just because there's a couple of shots of different people singing backup vocals doesn't really do it. Doesn't really get it there.
As far as the visuals of the song go, we've got Pizzazz flying on chart lines to start the song. Pizzazz looks the happiest we've ever seen her ever in the series in this song.
You know what? I'm happy when Pizzazz is happy.
And you can hear it in the lyrics, too, when considering she goes, yeah, at one point.
She's just like, this is it. I deserve this. It took 3 seasons.
She slides down the chart line to the stage here, the Misfits Top of the Charts tour. Here's where I noted that, yes, the holograms are all wearing their evil sister garb from Beauty and the Rock promoter.
Nice.
We've got the Pizzazz auditioning for a role here, getting vaudeville caned out of there.
Well, like Kimber is brought into a back room for some weird casting couch nonsense.
They said that you would never break through. Oh yeah? Well, pardon me while I gloat. In the middle of a song, Pizzazz sings the words. Pardon me while I gloat.
I'm surprised she even said pardon me.
We've got imagery of a fan running on stage only to be tackled by security. Kristen, everybody fucking loves the 10-person Misfits band here. The album is a super hot seller. The holograms look so fucking depressed.
There is a pan of them at like 60% opacity, all 4 of the holograms just across the screen while they're singing backup vocals, and they all just kind of look low-key suicidal.
And it's over Pizzazz wallowing in a spotlight, so it looks like they're mourning the dead Pizzazz.
The dead, and then the risen.
The Pizzazz.
Amen.
So, that was top of the charts. Back to Jem and Riot at this point. Riot goes, have you ever seen such an idyllic existence?
Oh, jeez, he's malfunctioning.
Riot says that there was a bit of a snag when they docked in Mexico. However, they didn't...
A little bit. Like on the scale of a boat crash.
So we flash back to that moment here. They get to Mexico. It's been 3 days since they boarded the boat here. And Kristen, once again, what's going on with Jem's passport?
Hey, Joe? That's a super great question. Sure do wish I could answer it.
Jem's like, I can't believe it. I have responsibilities. I need to get back.
And Riot says, but Jem, You haven't seen me water ski.
And Jem just is kind of like, Are you good?
See, that was a really good play on Riot's part, because what we didn't know as the audience is that water skiing gets Jem mega horny.
We cut right to Jem driving a boat as Riot does a fucking Fonzie jump the shark ramp over water skiing.
He hits those
here.
ramps way better than I hit the ramps in Sonic Adventure 2.
And Riot gets back on the boat here, and Jem's like, whoo, that was good. All right, well, I've seen you water ski, so let's get out of here.
And Riot responds, am I not perfect?
And Jem's like,
You're a very good friend.
Riot starts going at this point, Jem, have you made your decision?
And Jem goes, apropos of nothing, excuse me?
Your decision to stay with me forever.
And Jem, who has already kissed Riot in this episode, and other times beyond that, goes, well, you're very captivating, Riot, but...
Rio.
Yeah, the guy who's not my boyfriend.
Riot claims he is stronger, smarter, and more clever than Rio. By far.
So those last two things are pretty much the same. And then also, he demonstrates the opposite of that by immediately telling Jem that he's the one. Where he says he disguised himself as a mechanic. Which, holy shit, what a mental image. I just imagine him, like, in his normal clothes, but he's wearing, like, a gray hat. Chest still open, blonde hair still there, and he's like, yes, it's me, the perfect mechanic. And Rio's like, seems legit.
Rio's just like, just don't dent it, and he throws him the keys.
Go for it, buddy. And Riot just, in front of Rio, takes a wrench, slides underneath the van, and just starts banging it up against them. A bunch of shit falls out, and he comes out covered in oil like he just murdered the car. And he's like, you're good to go. Rio gets in, turns the keys, nothing happened, and he's like, oh my god, I just broke down. Riot's like, that sucks, and then he leaves.
I was gonna say, Rio steps out of the car to be like, hey, mechanic, I don't think you did a good job, and just, wherever Rio went to get his car fixed, it's just...
There's smoke shaped like Riot's outline. So stupid!
So, Riot reveals this fucking Looney Tunes ass plan that we just concocted here.
And then I put on a dress and a pink wig.
After all of this is revealed, Jem is like, oh, this was a trick. We definitely gotta go back now.
I got kidnapped. God. Okay, I need to go.
And Riot, yes, is a gigantic dumbass for even admitting to that. Why would he do that?
He says, it was for your own good, Jem. In case
That's not
you
a
haven't
response.
noticed all the other red flags, I'm a sociopath.
They aren't going back until Jem says that she's Riot's forever, and then Jem's like, well, I'm gonna drive the boat, because I've been driving the boat, so I know how to do it.
I'm gonna drive the speedboat back to the United States.
So she and Riot fight over the controls, and lo and behold, Kristen, disaster boat. It crashes into some rocks. Segment 2 ends with the boat exploding.
So, before it even explodes, so Riot is trying to wrest the controls. And as they're heading toward a bunch of rocks, with both of them having a semblance of control over where the steering mechanism is pointed, Jem goes, Riot, look out! It's like, motherfucker, you also have your hands on the steering wheel. How about you both turn and not hit the rocks? When they go flying and they definitely die, and it's their ghosts on that island.
The boat explodes, and yes, Jem and Riot are flung toward the shore at the end of segment 2
Like fucking
here.
ragdolls.
Segment 3 starts.
Riot is in two pieces.
Riot sews his lower half back on here and then walks over to Jem with a coconut in hand that I don't think is used for anything.
He, like, seems to dip his hand in it and, like, just start rubbing shit on her face. And he's like, hi there, audience. Didn't see you there. I know how this looks. Jem is not dead. Don't worry. I didn't kill her. Yet.
Just some minor cuts and bruises and some abrasions, some internal bleeding, and... oh, fuck, oh my god, oh no.
Oh, I killed a pop star. So the hologram puts, like, scrapes on, Jem? Just curious.
Let's not get into this conversation.
I know.
Life is going to be so perfect here.
Luckily, I am a survival expert who specializes in desert islands. You know, like the ones in West Germany.
And I don't even need to wear a shirt.
He is the perfect man.
Jem comes to at this point and is just like, who are you talking to? Who's that you're mugging at the camera for?
What's a camera? Riot's like, shh, you stupid woman.
Yeah, right, puts her hand over her mouth and goes, sleep!
And then he winks at the camera, which he does actually do.
We fade to Minx at this point. She says that she cannot live without Riot because Riot was her guru, her inspiration.
Rapture says, from the first time I laid eyes on Riot, I knew we belonged together.
And as it so happened, the first time that she laid eyes on Riot was while they were fucking. Already.
Weird.
Just in the middle of it.
Yeah. Both of them were just like, oh, this is happening. Well, nice to meet you. Interesting.
Good thing he's the perfect man.
Oh, yeah. They're all doing great. Mink says that he was the nucleus that the world revolved around. Also, Rio is being so standoffish. And it's starting to piss Minx off a little bit.
I do like how Minx is just like, oh, Riot was my everything. But Rio's not paying attention to me!
Rio, can't you even, do you have to sit in the same room as me if you're gonna ignore me? Don't be a dick.
Yeah, Rio is sitting 6 feet away from Minx as she is, doing the monologue thing here.
So they got that postcard, and Rio has been wasting away in front of it, wondering, why, Gem? Why? Also, where's Jericho?
Where's Jericho?
What? Weird. The thing I hate about this is the only way that you can excuse Rio not being worried about Jericho is to assume he knows that Gem and Jericho are the same person, and just that he is too emotionally distraught to bring up that he knows that they're two different people, to keep up the charade, but they don't do any of it.
Minx hates being ignored, so she gets up and steals the postcard away from Rio, playing keep away with it, even as Rio is like, Minx, give it back!
Minx is doing some real good fill-in little laugh.
She really is, and, Rio's knocking over shit from tables to try and get it back from her.
And she's fucking loving it. She's like, ha ha ha, you gonna hit me when you catch me, motherfucker?
Minx asks what's so special about the fucking postcard anyway, and Rio's like, it's the last contact we had with Jim.
Man, the Stingers are, so eager to just give up the gambit. It's kind of crazy, because Minx is like, you dumb American. This isn't written by Jim.
So the holograms arrive at this point too. They're like, what the fuck's going on here? Just as Minx says that this postcard wasn't written by Jem. And Kimber's like, it was totally written by Jem. I know my own I know Jem's handwriting.
Oh, god damn it, Roger Slifer.
It was a perfect forgery by Riot.
Oh,
and
he does forgeries now? Does this ever come up ever again?
Kristen, you can tell Riot wrote it because he's so much of a fucking ego monster that he puts a little R with a circle. He puts a little restricted trademark logo on his shit.
I would have found it much more funny and realistic if he just wrote Riot.
It's a registered trademark, excuse me.
Whatever.
I don't know what a restricted trademark is.
Me neither.
Rio at this point starts connecting the dots, going, wait a minute. If Jem didn't write this, then Riot is the one who wrote it, which means the Jem don't want to be with Riot, maybe. Then why wouldn't she make an attempt to come back? Whatever, let's go find her.
Why wouldn't she talk to Synergy? Why wouldn't she have Synergy contact the other holograms? Why does she just lounge on a hammock and not actually act like she doesn't want to be there up until the moment someone's like, Jem, you have a band and a company. And then she's like, oh shit.
So Rio says, let's go. And we cut out to the front yard here where the Heathers are all playing croquet. And
perfect. So Pizzazz is definitely Heather Chandler.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Which one's Winona Ryder? Stormer.
Oh,
right?
Oh, Stormer's definitely Winona Ryder. I love it. I love this AU. This is my favorite one we've done. And then, then again, the Roxy and Jetta are both terrible. So it's hard to give one of them Heather McNamara. I think Storm might actually be Heather McNamara.
So Winona Ryder has to be somebody who's Clash?
No, that doesn't work either. We'll figure it out.
Well, whatever. Anyway, everyone jumps in the Rockin' Roadster here, and there are 7 people in the car this time, Kristen, and I'm very angry.
Way.
Pizzazz screams, that's my car! As they head off, and you come back here right now, you're all fired!
So Ashley becomes media aware. She sees the fourth one and goes, oh, hi, I didn't see you there. And she says, well, we orphans, that's what we call ourselves, branding. We've had enough of the Misfits.
You think we're gonna sit down and take Pizzazz's garbage?
Okay, so they start harassing Pizzazz, and they say, oh, we need money for new clothes, because the school year's starting, and Pizzazz goes, fuck off. Wear what you wear. Who cares?
I've never seen you wear anything different.
You especially, Ashley, because I've seen you several times, and I know you don't change your clothing. But so they get Pizzazz to take them to buy new clothes, and later we see them going through all the orphan bills, and it is implied that the orphans are intentionally sinking Starlight Music. If Jem didn't come back and Jerrica didn't get control of the company again, the orphans would still be displaced to other foster homes.
Maybe they thought that it would be better for them to be displaced than be under the rule of Pizzazz, maybe?
You can't take us down. If we go down, you're coming with us.
Basically, yeah, Ashley tries to do a fucking, like a Chaozu explosion here, where if she calls child services, if Pizzazz isn't getting them new clothes or, like, giving them proper care, she's going to call child services, and they're going to take away Starlight Music from Pizzazz, which, of course, will displace the orphans in the process, but Pizzazz no longer has Starlight Music. And maybe they're thinking, well, okay, what if we have it so there's another, like, Starlight Girl 2 Electric Boogaloo thing formed here, and then we can all get back together afterward, clearly, because Kimber can she'll be adult enough to do it at some point.
At some point. Here's my question. Why doesn't Pizzazz respond to this by going, okay, guess what I don't own anymore?
Orphans.
Bye! Like, she has the ability to dissolve Starlight Foundation and just be like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm unable to care for these kids. I think they would be better off elsewhere.
In more capable hands.
Ow.
I think Pizzazz wouldn't take too much of a credibility hit if she went, I'm no Jerrica Benton when it comes to helping the orphans.
I don't think so either, but that doesn't occur to her. I feel like maybe at some point it could be argued that it's ego, where if they don't have the orphans anymore, they don't have a reason to have Starlight Mansion, and the only reason that Pizzazz would care about that location in the first place, and we're going series-wide here, is because they would have won the mansion if they'd won the initial battle of the bands.
Kristen, if they did win the initial battle of the bands, would Pizzazz have even cared about the mansion because she already has a fucking...
Oh, she would have just burned it down.
She's already got a fucking mansion.
Yeah, just like, I don't give a shit, light it up.
We fade to the boat shop here. Everybody's already in Mexico, I guess.
They drove all the way there.
I mean, LA's not... Well, it's probably still a ways, but you probably want to fly to Mexico.
You probably do. Especially if you think your friend might have been kidnapped.
The boat guy says that, he's just like... They go up to him and are basically, hey, did you see a pink lady and a blonde guy? And he's like, well, Rizzo? No, not Rizzo and Kaneki, no.
No, what he actually says is, sí! And that's the only Spanish he speaks.
Are you from El Norte?
Oh, god damn it!
It's Paco, shit!
He got big real fast!
So he says that Jem and Riot took out a boat, but the Coast Guard reported an accident, so they've been missing in action, I guess. They find out, though, now, for some reason, even though the boat is, like, all crashed up on the shore, the Coast Guard, Mexico's Coast Guard, didn't really bother to look very hard.
No, they also didn't pick up the pieces of the boat.
So Rio gets everybody together to get out on some boats to head off to these islands to search near where Jem's boat was lost, because I guess they know where the location of where the boat was last, I guess?
Yeah, so, Rio gets into his own boat. I don't see any money exchanging hands to pay for these boats they're stealing. And Minx just hops in and she's like, I'm going with you, stupid American.
And Rio's just like, do whatever you want. Fuck, I don't care.
He is so deadpan with Minx sometimes that it's actually fucking hysterical. He's just so sick of her.
The boats all head out here and we fade back to Starlight Music. Pizzazz realizes that like 90 orphans cost a lot of fucking money.
Roxy's like, no! All the bills and shit, I've been there.
Who could have thought a bunch of little girls could be so much trouble?
Oh, who says that?
Stormer. No, Jetta says it.
Oh, okay, yeah. So Eric strolls and he goes, swish his hair. Your parents, perhaps?
Oh, burn!
Oh!
Pizzazz realizes she's in over her head at this point, so Kristen, she asks Eric for help. Jetta even says, please.
She's never said that before in her life. So, apparently going through all of these finances, Eric becomes homeless in the process. As he gets a 5 o'clock shadow, he undoes his tie, and his hair falls off.
Eric turns into In Search of the Stolen Album Eric in a single fade, which shows how fucked up Jerrica's books are.
And there is no fucking way the Misfits did all of this damage.
He determines that Starlight Music is in more debt now than the day that the Misfits took over, which...
That's impossible! No!
No, because it's not impossible because they aren't caring for the orphans correctly, probably. Or they hired roadies instead. They realized, wait a minute, who's our roadie? Rio? We need more people!
And there wasn't the money for it to begin with because the company has one band signed!
Oh, fuck. So, Roxy, puts her hands on her head like, oh no, it was all for nothing, fuck!
Fade to Rio and Minx, who find the crashed boat. Rio rushes through the jungle, leaving Minx behind? Like a fucking elephant might not stomp on her or something? Rude.
An elephant on this island, Kristen.
Yeah, maybe! Or a Snorlax. They can swim.
They can, you're right.
I watched the Orange Island arc.
Rio is rushing through the forest here, the jungle or whatever. Better run through the jungle.
He has to play his poke flute, get the Snorlax out of the way.
And as he opens up some leaves here, he goes, hurry, Gem maybe, and he sees Gem lounging with Riot, and just like, oh.
With her flower bikini that they had time to make, right? And his creepy loincloth. Shell necklace. They've been relaxed enough to accessorize.
Minx comes over and helps compound the problem by going, hey, looks like they're having the time of their lives. Wow.
Rio gets discouraged immediately. Despite still knowing that the letter that was written to them was a forgery.
Rio goes, if this is what Gem wants, I'll leave her to her own devices. And Minx is like, are you fucking nuts?
Because Minx doesn't like being in the Misfits. So she just rolls up on Riot and Gem and she's like, hey, how's it going?
Oh, cool. I didn't expect to see you guys on the island.
And Riot is just straight up like, go away! Are you kidding me, Minx?
And Gem's like, oh, Minx, cool. What are you doing here? And she's like, I came here with Rio. And Gem's like, where Rio? Rio where?
I was relaxed up until this moment. I really thought there was going to be some, like, extra level gambit where after the whole we got stranded on this deserted island with no escape thing happened, that Gem would be, like, pretending to be totally into this isolated life with Riot. But that doesn't happen.
Now, Gem, for the duration of the episode, is basically lounging in a hammock. And even then, it could have been something that just like she's taking a nap or something, or like her leg is hurt or something.
No, and we like, based on all of this evidence, there is nothing to tell me that she and Riot haven't been having rancorous island sex every single night. So, it turns out Gem is also a sociopath.
So Gem goes running after Rio at this point. They embrace, and she's just like, Riot tricked us. Tricked you? Or tricked everyone?
Who is us? What? How many people? Wait. Hey, start from the beginning. Assume I know nothing.
Riot's all mad because Minx ruined everything here, but Rio and Gem are kissing. Here comes Riot, rolling up on him here himself, just being
Already
like,
got
hey,
those fists going.
You ain't leaving here with Jim. Nuh-uh.
He and Rio trade like 2 punches back and forth. Riot does get one right in the kisser.
He gets a punch in his beautiful face, and Gem breaks up the fight. She is not something to be fought over, Kristen. She is a strong, independent woman who don't need no 2 men fighting over her. She could do what she chooses, and she chooses, Rio, please take me on a boat out of here.
I want to go home. I've been eating coconuts.
We fade to the boat. Gem's happy she's getting back here, and Aja, the realist, is just like, the stingers are coming back too, you know. Riot's always going to be a fucking thorn on our side. Why live? Why live?
Let's just give up and embrace sweet death anyway. So, Rio stole the spark plug from the boat that was there. So, okay. That's fucked up. Because all the other holograms are there, I assume that they left a boat for the stingers. Then, like, switched out. Because they took a couple of boats. Okay, again, it's a thing. Riot was the dick this episode. Minx and Rapture had nothing to do with this, and they stranded them on an island, and then Riot makes them row back.
Yeah, which is...
That's mean!
Really mean. I'm still confused about the fact that, okay, so Rio and Minx came over to this island here. They don't have cell phones or anything.
No.
So you would think that Rio, Minx, Riot, and Gem would all leave on a boat together. But no, for some reason they split up again because all the holograms end up coming over, I guess?
They got boat radios. Radios on the boats.
Maybe they do have boat radios, huh? Either way, we cut back to Starlight Mansion here. The Misfits are in control of Starlight Music, so the problems aren't over just yet.
So they go into the mansion and hear weirdly quiet screaming. And there is an orphan riot.
There's an orphan riot in progress as they walk in here, including things such as Ashley hanging from a chandelier with a broom, hitting Pizzazz, and Bonnie attempting to beat Eric to death with a pillow.
The inmates have become the orderlies. Is that how that goes?
Inmates running the asylum, whatever, something like that.
There you go.
Inmates, orderly, that's basically the same thing, yeah.
You get the sense of what I'm saying.
Jerrica starts her hero speech here while Pizzazz is getting beaten by a broom.
So, yeah, like, Pizzazz sees Jerrica and she's like, oh! Hey, buddy. Hey.
Jerrica's like, Pizzazz, I'll take you to the highest court to get Starlight music back. And Pizzazz is just like, fucking take it. I don't want it.
You want it back? Cool. Awesome. It's yours.
I'm glad Eric attempts this because he just is like, wait, no, Pizzazz. I'll buy Starlight music from you. I'll give you a ton of money for it.
Bonnie goes over to Eric and goes, "Oh, Uncle Eric, will you take us to the circus?" And then she spits tobacco in his face.
And Eric goes, I withdraw my offer.
I don't want to own the orphans.
Pizzazz and Eric run away at this point, and for some reason Eric's just like, Pizzazz, wait for me!
I have tobacco spit on my face, and it's really gross.
I'm gonna puke!
So everyone hugs Jerrica. They're so happy she's back. Who cares about Jem? And then Jerrica looks fondly at all the orphans, smiles, and goes, "So you guys are gonna clean this up, right?"
Song number 3 of the evening, All's Right with the World.
What episode was this from?
This was from the Talent Search Part 2.
Aha, you're right.
This was the song that they played in Rhea's garage.
The private garage concert.
So we've got orphans cleaning up here. Kimber finds that different picture of Jackie and Emmett that was broken and starts hugging it. And here we have Kristen, Rhea using a wrecking ball to smash the new Misfits sign.
Does she have the license and credentials she needs to operate one of those things?
She's 18 years old, Kristen.
Yeah, you know what? We learned something new about Rhea this episode.
And they put the exact same Jem sign back, like the one of Jem looking over her shoulder that Pizzazz drew the mustache on in the music awards.
Hey, Joe.
Yes.
So this billboard, I don't know how much we've discussed it before. It is a picture of just Jem.
Yes.
Even Pizzazz had the decency to put every single member of the 10-person Misfits on the billboard. She was the person who was the biggest, but all of them were still there.
If you remember, too, Misfits Music had that, animated billboard with all 3 of the Misfits on it, standing in equal footing.
I really cannot parse out in my mind how it's okay that Jem and the Holograms is so fucking Jem-centric. I don't get it.
Maybe because it's literally... I mean, it's one of those things where Bobby Bailey and the Tornadoes, we know who Bobby Bailey is. Do we know who the rest of the Tornadoes are? Does it matter? Is that how people view Jem and the Holograms?
I have no idea. Maybe it just never occurred to Pizzazz to be Pizzazz and the Misfits. But doesn't it seem impossible?
That seems incredibly impossible that Pizzazz would never think that.
Logically, Pizzazz is just a better band leader.
Poor Pizzazz. She deserves
deserves the world.
Maybe not the world.
Yes.
Probably destroy it. So we've got a Jem concert going on. We've got Lindsay interviewing Jem.
Couldn't finish the episode without Lindsay being like, "Oh, you're back, Jem."
Yeah, where's Lindsay in all this? Why didn't she get to join in on the rescue mission? Because she would have been the one who's just here, take my plane tickets to Mexico that I bought for no reason. No reason. I did not. Don't worry about it.
I wasn't going to go on a cruise with Jem and then kidnap her. Jem hasn't seen me water ski.
I wasn't going to buy a lot of cocaine. No.
No, not that either. Jem hasn't seen me do lines of cocaine.
Are you good?
$100 bills rolled up. One in each nostril. 2 at a time. She's an expert.
We've got Jem shows selling out here, a big flashy colorful background with magazine covers here. We've got some people, some teenage girls who are kind of lounging or moping around, I should say. Kind of some dorm room probably.
Aww.
And then we've got a lady who bursts in with Jem tickets they're back! And all them start wiping away their Misfits makeup that they're wearing.
They were so sad to be Misfits fans.
Jem tells the camera to talk to the hand, and that's the end of the episode.
Man, what a weird one.
All's right with the world. Kristen, that was the day the music died, and it's really fucking weird. There's so much wait a minute, what if they just did this? That might end up solving the problem. Or key characters aren't there. Not that Joni's a key character or anything. Joni and Synergy, both people voiced by Synergy, aren't in this episode.
Bailey isn't there?
Mrs. Bailey, how does she feel about the Misfits taking over?
We don't get to know her feelings. She's not young and pretty enough.
To be fair, Roger Slifer is pretty much the only person who, other than Christy Marks, who will write the Stingers, the Misfits, and the Holograms all in the same episode.
Yeah.
Which makes me think, did Roger Slifer write A Change of Heart too, maybe? Because the Misfits are in that episode, huh?
I guess We'll find out.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think you wrote 4 episodes this season total, I think.
We will discover.
Oh, that's a lot of episodes, though. Maybe... Fuck, did you write 4? That's a lot. Jesus. We'll see. Anyway, what did you think of The Day the Music Died, Kristen?
I think that though Riot is pure evil, a pure narcissistic evil, Jem didn't try not to be kidnapped.
No, which is another problem of the episode here, where, again, I like kind of all of the... I like the idea of the episode, but the way that it's executed, it's almost impossible to execute without there being questions raised, like, where's Jerica? Mm-hmm. Where's Synergy? Where's anybody else here? How do other people feel about, like, the idea of the Misfits forming a supergroup, which is the best part of the episode too.
Oh, by far.
This may as well have been a fucking fever dream by Pizzazz.
It's one of those things where you can imagine in something similar to this happening, Pizzazz being like, okay, now I own Starlight Music, and the main band is the Misfits, you are all fired. But what she does, and follow me here, she recognizes the value of the other members of the band, and she lets them play with her, and she is happy with their success.
Now, and the other thing is, even though she does refer to Kimber as a holotwerp and such, it's not like, get out of here, we have too many keyboardists already. It's Kimber, I value your contribution to this band. Mm-hmm. So...
Pizzazz, do good! 100 good deeds for Pizzazz.
Kristen, we are becoming the biggest Pizzazz defense force on the internet, probably.
Probably, and I'm okay with it.
Now's the point in the evening where we'll list off all of the fun contact things, where you can find us. You can follow us on the Twitter machine at CWTAPod. You can follow me at Octopus, that's AWKTAPUS.
You can follow me at FunnyGirlTM, like trademark.
You could find us on the iTunes, on the SoundCloud, on the Stitcher Radio, on the YouTube. Leave a rating, give a review, do whatever you feel like. You could also drop us a line, cwtapod@gmail.com, where you could tell us about your methods of forging someone's handwriting and who your guru/inspiration is.
Mine is Winona Ryder, actually.
Next week, Kristen, we are back on our shit, because it is part 2 of our ongoing Sonic Adventure 2 saga, where we do things like hunting for Chaos Emeralds within a time limit, down at Pumpkin Hill or something, jungle levels, Tails' bad voice acting.
Look at a hot bat.
Looking at a hot bat. So, oh boy.
I'm not actually sure what parts of the game we're going to get to next episode, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, we gotta determine that still. So, anyway, part 2, Sonic Adventure 2, next week for the Can We Talk About podcast. My name is Joe.
I am Kristen.
And make sure you join us for that, part 2 of Sonic Adventure 2.
Checks in the mail.